Hello, Chris Oliver here, a surprisingly attractive Chris Oliver. If you want every woman you know to find you surprisingly good looking, all you need to do is grow a beard for about 2 years. And then as soon as you shave it off, they'll all be like, oh, hello there. I know this because I have polled all 5 women that I know. And yeah, Palm Springs, California. All the old gay men I know also agree, and I know a lot more of them. This is the feather that I just found on the ground. It has absolutely nothing to do with today's video. Today's video is about Terence McKenna. Man, what a mind! How did I not familiarize myself with Terence McKenna earlier? I'm a jive turkey fool, that is why. If you are, I guess the word is a rationalist. I used to be rational, but if you are a left-brain rationalist, I highly would recommend listening to Terence McKenna's lectures. He is so very right about so many things, and it's amazing how far down the path he went to get there. A few things or a few ideas of his that I, totally jive with. The transcendental object at the end of time. It's a beautiful way of encapsulating. I mean, it's almost the Christian idea of the rapture. If you were to, I did see a lecture where someone asked him, what is the difference between the rapture and the transcendental object at the end of time? And he was hard pressed to answer that himself. And really the only answer I could tell you would be symbolism. What's the difference between the way he puts it and the rapture? Well, symbolism. Am I saying here that I believe a rapture is going to occur? I'm saying here that it is not beyond the realm of possibility. Because, the feather says these things may happen. Everything is cyclical. Why would time not be? And everything that has a beginning has an end. I don't have a beginning, and thus I do not have an end. But this has a beginning. Things Terence McKenna was very right about nature spirits. He talks a lot about talking to the mushrooms and things he learned from the mushrooms and things he learned from the machine elves he saw on DMT. I'm a little envious there because I have done my share of shrooms. It's been a long time, but I have. Never done DMT, barely ever even seen DMT. I've seen DMT as many times as I've seen heroin in my life, and that's once. And that was watching other people do it and going, no. And I certainly wasn't ready for it then, but oh man, do you know a guy? I don't know a guy. But what this video is about, and here that we are 4 minutes into it, ways Terence McKenna was wrong, things he was wrong about. And it's really only 2 big subjects that I think he completely missed the mark on. The first is very much conspiracy theory. Now, we're due credit, we're credit where credit's due. Terence McKenna's opinions on conspiracy theory were formed in the 80s and 90s. There wasn't a lot of information in the 80s and 90s. You could not, the way conspiracy theory was propagated back then, it was on VHS tapes, it was on, pamphlets. Don't mind the small hole in my shirt. The information, it was too disseminated. It was impossible to put all the pieces together unless that's all you did was obsess about conspiracy theory, just because the access to the information wasn't there. Today, it's a very different story. Anything you want to know about conspiracy theory, any subject at all, you name it, there is more information about any one topic than anyone could ever possibly digest. Never start looking into the numerology in 9/11 because, oh my goodness, you'll be there for the rest of your life. Maybe you should look at the numerology behind 9/11, but not from me because other people got that way better covered than I do. I am late to the party there. So Terence McKenna was very much wrong on his opinions about conspiracy theory, and I think that's mostly due to the fact that he didn't have access to enough information there. He fell into the cultural trap of not taking it seriously, and by just dismissing it out of hand, which we're taught to do about conspiracy theory. I mean, that's why we have that whole tinfoil crackpot image of a conspiracy theorist, because you have to break that first level of programming to actually even look at it and go, well, this shit makes sense. Oh, wait, you can't destroy a skyscraper with an airplane. Oh, shit. You know, it's a trap waiting for you, but it was not a trap available for Terence to even venture into. And, you know, he had the kind of analytical mind that I think if he had access to that information, he would have changed his tune. I think he would have seen through the bullshit far sooner. And in many ways, it's a shame he didn't live well into the information age. It's amazing how much information. I mean, the dude obviously spent his life learning. Go watch some of his lectures. There was one I linked to in my subreddit the other day that's fantastic, but really just pick a subject and dig in. But another thing Terence got wrong, which somewhat related to conspiracy theories, was his viewpoints on aliens and alien abductions. Now, I'm the first to tell you that alien abductions aren't what they seem. Earth is flat. There is no outer space. So it's hard to have alien visitors from nowhere. Well, that's kind of what they are. They're kind of visitors from nowhere. So Terence believed that all these alien encounters, all these abductions, blah, 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 were manifested hallucinations. Self-manifested hallucinations, a result of the zeitgeist. That is, you know, just... He felt it was a form of psychosis that manifested in a shared way due to the times. You know, that's not quite right. It is an experience that I believe is injected, which is why a lot of people experience time dilation. Well, they'll feel like, you know, they haven't moved, but time around them has gone on. It's a form of extreme time dilation. It can happen kind of in the other fashion while you're meditating, where time will actually begin passing more slowly as your consciousness shifts. So yeah, sorry, Terence, you weren't on that one either. And the final thing, he could never get into the idea of entities being channeled. And, you know, that is something that even after my enlightenment, the first thing enlightenment teaches you is that there are many stages to enlightenment. You never hit a point, especially when you're within this meat, you never hit a point where it's just complete, total enlightenment. If you do, I'm pretty sure the shell cracks open and your inner self just beams out. I think, you know, the credits roll, but yeah, the first thing enlightenment teaches you is the many stages of enlightenment. And I didn't know about my guide at first, even though immediately after my enlightenment, their consciousness and my consciousness were very much together, and it was over the next, you know, and that's what I refer to as Satori state, and I do believe that's probably a very similar experience to what other people who've hit Satori state have been through. I'm completely getting a little off tangent here, but yeah, I'm very surprised Terence McKenna had troubles accepting the idea of entities being channeled from beyond this reality, because he did so, well, I'm not going to say he's easily accepted the machine elves of DMT or the Gaia spirit that he spoke to while using psilocybin mushrooms. So I'm surprised he was not able to make, to an extremely rational, purely left-brain logical mind. I suppose there is a wall there between spirit of the earth, the Gaia spirit, the machine elves you can find in DMT, and he firmly believed that these were conscious entities of their own. But then on the other side of this reality, that there might also be consciousnesses poking in, that, there was apparently a barrier that he was not able to get through with logic. Which kind of underscores the reason I always say, trust your intuition over your logic, and both over everything you are told. Let your intuition lead you, let your little urges pull you where they're going to pull you. As I've said before, always do what the voices tell you to do, unless they tell you to burn things. Them's the rules. And that really is, where I am in my own personal development. It's basically a process of trying to invite my guide's consciousness, and my guide is a collective. Your guide might be a singular consciousness. Mine, for whatever reason, I don't know how that works, but mine's apparently a collective consciousness. Where I am right now in my development is a process of letting their consciousness and my consciousness, it's starting to meld, it's starting to blur. I feel like I'm being recruited in a lot of ways to, like, hey, we think you're pretty all right, you can be part of our club. And I think that's a lot of how guides pick who they pick. It's, we like you, we like your sense of humor, we like your potential, we like the way your hands look whenever you put them real close to the camera and pretend it's your hands talking instead of your mouth. So those are a few things that I disagree very heavily with Terence McKenna on. Still, great mind. It's so amazing and humbling to find people who are both significantly smarter than you are and can still speak your language. That is a rare treat. So that rare treat is indeed Terence McKenna. Go check it out if you have not. So that's my spiel about that. I hope everyone's doing well. I didn't realize I was in such a good mood, but I hit record and was like, this last week's been kind of rough. A lot of people have been like, oh, this last week, but apparently it's letting up a little bit, hold on to the 7th. Speaking of Terence McKenna, this is the thought that was trying to get out here. His project Timewave Zero, it has predicted 2 dates. The first date was December 21st, 2012, which was the end of the world, as we all know. You didn't miss that? You can't remember the end of the world? Yeah. And while that date did feel like it came and went with no event, in retrospect, it does very much feel like a marker of both personal and global events beginning. It's when shit really started to get weird. As best I can tell, the end of the world was when shit started to get weird. So, I guess that's to be expected. But the other date his Timewave Zero has predicted is actually July 8th, next July 8th. What's it worth? I don't know. But what's in this energy? I don't know. It's all new. It's all new. Old things are coming back. It's all new, but old things are coming back because everything is cyclical. Stay tuned.